Hi everyone, it's Nancy here and I am with a process video for you, and this is a layout for my Hey Little Magpie blog post this month, and I have decided to embrace white cardstock. As you'll know if you've watched any of my videos, I am a real fan of using a pattern paper as my background, but I decided I was going to mix things up a little bit and try using some white cardstock. This piece of white cardstock is beautiful. It has a embossed wood grain in, and it is absolutely lovely. So I'm going to be using that as my background. You've just seen me pour some of my inks out there, and one of them leaked and has gone on it already, but I am going to be creating a messy background anyway, so it's not going to be too bad. And I'm going to be using my American Crafts roller stamps and getting in a bit of a mess, to be honest, because I'd stored these inks wrongly and the kind of ink had all run to one end, so it's my own fault, but I'm just going to be using those to add some decoration to the background. And I think this is the way that, you know, the only way I can use the white cardstock is because it's just too white otherwise. I think lots of people out there do use white cardstock to then build up on and do layers and things like that. So I've just used Blushing Bride and Melon Mambo, and I've used my little heart roller, and I really love those rollers, and I've kind of neglected them a bit, so I'm happy to go back to them. I'm now digging through my roller stamps here and going to be using them to stamp some words and things into my background. And I'm going to be using my grey Memento ink, I think that's London Fog that's called. I'm just going to be stamping a mixture of words around, because of course I am going to be layering over this. I would say because this is a embossed cardstock that, you know, you're not going to get a perfect impression every time, but that doesn't really bother me, so I'm just going to go willy-nilly putting bits around, and yeah, really like how that came out. I'm going to be shaking up here my gold Heidi Swap, and I'm going to be using that to just add some sprinkles excuse me, over the top. And I really like this as a background, and of course I'm going to use my Route 66, which is my favourite grey mist, and I really love how that looks. So I'm just going to settle that down to dry while I start working on some other bits. I pulled out two paper pads, and that's the Serendipity paper pad and also the Project Life Becky Higgins paper pad, and this is the desktop one, and this has some beautiful papers in. It has some foil effect papers as well, so really love that. And I love that they're doing 6x6 pads now, because I love the cards and I buy the cards, but 6x6 pad is going to be so much more use to me. I did in fact buy a split pack of these cards as well, because Hey Little Magpie does actually do split packs of the core kits, so I have got those to use as well. And I say I've pulled out this Serendipity pack as well, paper pad to use, and I couldn't be bothered to get my trimmer because I put it on the floor, so I'm just going to cut that one up. I'm going to use that for a layering piece, and this is going to be a bit of a lovey-dovey layout, because this is a picture of me and my boyfriend, and we did kind of Valentine's Day a couple of days late because he was working and I was busy and we couldn't get to see each other. I mean, we only live like an hour and a half apart, but you know, sometimes with work and different commitments and stuff, we can't always get to see each other. So we'd arranged to do Valentine's Day a couple of days later. So I've just cut that I Love You to the Moon and Back card, and that was from Pebbles. It was from a cut apart sheet, a 12x12 cut apart sheet, and I have just cut out the heart there so I can overlap it over that photo. And then I have lots of pieces of papers there to the side, or lots of embellishments and bits, and they are from the Kiss Kiss collection from Crate Paper. And I really love them. Love them. They're not necessarily something I would have brought. I was lucky and I was gifted these by Emma, and now I've seen them, I realise why she loved them so much. And they're perfect for this kind of layout, just because the tones are this soft and lovely, and the hearts are they're, I don't know what I'm trying to say. They're kind of like, they're nice and romantic-y, but not soppy. You know, they're kind of like grown up, sort of grown up romantic, if that makes any sense. So I have this piece of Maggie Holmes paper here. This is just a scrap that was on my desk, and I believe it was from her first collection, maybe second. But it's just been hanging around on my desk, so I wanted to try and use that up. My paper had curled a little bit, so I was just trying to bend it back into place. These are some Valentine's tickets, and I believe these were from the ephemera pack. As I said, I didn't have the whole pack, but I believe that's where they're from, and they just work perfectly just to tuck in the layers of these photos. As I said, I wouldn't have necessarily brought these, so I was so happy when she offered to send them to me. And I really like mixing these vellum pieces in with some different pieces of cardstock. I'm now just cutting some bits off this Serendipity Dear Lizzie paper pad. And I'm just inking everything with the grey fog there to tie everything in together. And just going a little bit crazy, adding loads of tiny little layers and different bits and pieces. I do have this twine, which again is from my stash. I found it while doing some tidying. I've recently tidied up my space, and so I found that and I thought, yeah, I need to use this. So I'm going to just be just curling it up in any old way and sticking that under with my wet glue. Don't really overthink this. I think you can spend ages trying to get the perfect messy look. And so I'm just wrapping it around my finger and then just lifting up the layers to stick that down. And again, that's not something I've done in a while. I used to do it quite a bit. So I really like the texture that it just adds here. And as you can see, most of that background that I made is covered up anyway. And because I feel this white cardstock is embossed, it does mean that it has a little bit of added interest than just a plain white cardstock. And that's what I really love about it. I know this cardstock also came in like a dark brown and sort of craft colour as well. I really love it. So I'm now using some stickers, and again these are from the Kiss Kiss collection, and I'm just going to start building up my clusters here. In building this cluster up here, I do end up with an odd kind of piece of trapped space under that heart, so I'm going to need to find something to fill that. And so that is going to trouble me slightly, because I'm going to have a few difficulties on where I'm going to put everything. So I'm going to keep moving bits around and different things and trying flowers, and the problem is my face is over outside of the photo and I can't really overlap anything on the photo too much because it's going to get covered up. So I've also got the chipboard pieces from this collection, and again I'm just looking at anything I can add here. I'm going to keep playing about. I really like that heart, but because I had that other gold heart, which was similar in the background, you know, quite close to it, it just was going to look a little bit too samey. So I really am going to struggle with this for a bit. I did kind of quite like that gold arrow, but I just felt like it was pointing straight at my face, and that kind of made the title bit like I love you to the moon, but like I loved myself. And I do love myself, but that's not what the layout is about. So I thought, no, that's not going to work, so I'm just going to need to pull that off and find something else. So again, just get it, you know, it's going to trouble me for a bit, but in doing that and looking for something to put on there, I'm going to find a few other bits and just add them around the layout as and when. I do find this, what's it called, globe, and I really like how that looks, but it does cover up my face a little bit, but not too much. But I didn't like the wording on it, which I think says love letter or something. Love life, I don't know what it says. But I didn't really like that, so I'm just looking for another embellishment to cover that up. And there was a little love chipboard, so I'm just going to use that. I'm just using my 3D adhesive there just to pick up some of the layers so they're not crushing down on the things below them. And I really like how this came out. And I think the white cardstock actually works really well with all these muted colours. So I've just taken this piece of pink paper from my stash, and that is from the really old American Crafts Hey Girl collection. And so I'm just going to add that onto the background. And I'm really happy with how that looks. So this is my first layout, and I'll be back with some more layouts using white paper in the coming days. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!